my name is Rita Amarichinda, and I welcome you to Hashtag IP series, where I talk about recent IP cases and developments globally. Now, this could take the form of copyright, trademark, patent, industrial design, trade secret, geographical indication, and plant variety. If this is your first time joining us on Hashtag IP series, please favorite my podcast on Anchor, and don't forget to subscribe and like and share when it crosses your timeline. On today's episode, I'll be talking about one of the most controversial IP developments in Nigeria that got a lot of people talking and got a lot of people interested with, different views. So, over the weekend, Dr. Omotola had made a post that she trademarked her first name, her personal name, Omotola, and a lot of people were talking. So I'm here to shed more light on whether it's possible to trademark your personal name, especially if you are a celebrity. So on today's episode, I'll be talking about the culture of celebrity branding, commercialization, and exploitation of celebrity names and likeness through trademark. Now, I chose this topic because of the recent development. Dr. Omotola trademarking her personal name. She had posted on her Twitter page stating Omotola is now trademarked. And I got a tag. I had people reach out to me the day it was posted, wanting to get my views. Comments were coming in as to how she should have trademarked Almost Sexy, which is like her AKA, instead of Omotola, because Omotola is like a popular Yoruba name. Others were of the opinion that the name Omotola was generic and should never have been trademarked in the first place. I have a different view about all of this, and in summary, Omotola is distinctive in nature and capable of being distinctive. It's not generic, and she's not wrong for doing what she did. She's also not stopping others from bearing the name Omotola. So let's go back to the basics of trademark. Trademark is considered to be a type of intellectual property that could be in form of a name, emphasis on name, word, slogan, symbol, sign, letter, number, smell, color, sound, you name it, anything that makes it easy for a consumer to identify and differentiate your business from another. Now, once a mark is registered, the trademark owner gets to enjoy legal backing and also exclusive rights to use their mark in commerce. Emphasis on use in commerce. Now, the condition for registering a mark in Nigeria is that 1, the mark should be distinctive. Distinctive will mean unique, very unique, according to Section 9 of the Nigerian Trademark Act. Secondly, the mark should not be descriptive in the sense that you can know what the mark is about through its name, sign, or symbol. So by just looking at the mark, you already know that, this is what this mark is about. So let's be more realistic now. If you see a brand or a product called Omotola, would you be able to identify it or say, so this is Omotola? I don't know if that makes sense. So for instance, if you see apple on a product, you expect to see apple as a fruit, not apple in form of a computer or electronic. Now, according to Section 11 and 12 of the Trademark Act, it provides that any mark considered to be deceptive, scandalous, likely to cause confusion, and is a name of a chemical will not be registered. So, what now makes a mark to be distinctive in nature? 1, it must be linked to a source, especially since trademark as an IP is said to be a source identifier. 2, the mark must be used to indicate an origin. And 3, it must guarantee quality while still functioning as an association or be used as a form of an advert for the mark. Now, from these 3 requirements stated, do you still honestly think that Omotola as a mark meets the requirement of being distinctive in nature? For me, my answer is yes, because her mark will definitely be linked to a source. It's going to indicate an origin, and it's also going to guarantee quality. Now, I put up a poll, and 77.5% said that they did not think Omotola met the requirement of being distinctive in nature. I mean, come on, guys, give her a break. While 13.5 said yes, it did meet the requirements, while 6.3% said make she change them, and 2.7 were like So I like to put up this poll to get people's opinion. I always hope that people honestly vote and not just for the fun of it, but this is what the poll came up with. So moving on, what would make Omotola different from other existing Omotola, if any? One is consistent use, and if the mark is being used in commerce, that is, she's licensing it, assigning it, creating merchandise, going into partnerships, or even a merger, or even selling it. Unfortunately, she did not state the class that the mark was registered in, but I could take a wild guess that it could be a mark registered for services. I mean, hopefully she does that. I know that most of the foreign marked publication I do see about celebrities, trademarking something, they always say, oh, this person is trademarking their name in the following classes, blah blah blah. You get so moving on, trademark helps the owner in maintaining the goodwill and reputation required over time. Now, I also put up another poll. Which of these names do you think is more popular or Dr. Omotola is known for? 78% voted for Omosexy, while 22% voted for Omotola. I mean, for me, I would say like 50-50. Most people know her as Omosexy, and most people know her as Omotola. So for me, I think I'm, torn. I would say I'll go for 50-50 anyways. But if I were to choose one, I think I'll go for I'll just go for Omotola. I had to close my eyes to do that. I didn't have to think twice about that. For every of my IP series, I always advise people to register their IP. I know at some point, or in maybe one or two, I've stated the benefits of registering, but I'm just going to reiterate again. What are the benefits of registering a trademark? One, you get to enjoy an exclusive license to use your mark within the territory it was registered, because trademark as an IP is territorial in nature. Secondly, you get to use R, which means registered. So where you see TM, it means it's an unregistered mark, but where you see R beside the name or logo, it means the mark in question is registered. You can also apply for a foreign trademark using your Nigerian application as a pillar. That's for those that want to expand to other jurisdiction and want to do like a foreign trademark application. You can also stop others from using your mark in commerce or for commercial purpose, and you can stop them from copying or infringing on your mark. So let's say now that Omotola has trademarked her name and someone decides to go and register or use Omotola's name for something, she can prevent them from copying and infringing on her mark. Now, when a mark is in form of a name, your limitation as an owner is to the mark and not to prevent others from bearing that name. So, for instance, you have the Philips brand. Philips is the name of a person, but it's still a brand. So why not Omotola? I know a lot of people were arguing that Omotola is a tribal name, it's African, it's unheard of, it's alien, it's generic, it's going to make the name generic. I feel people should be a bit more open and should cut her some slack or give her some break. Give her a break, basically. I still think she's doing the right thing. I think she should have done this a long time ago, trying to, commercialize and exploit her name and likeness. That's another area in Nigeria that is yet to be developed. But I think with time, a lot of celebrities are beginning to see the benefit of doing these things. So another benefit is that you have the right to register the mark with the Nigerian custom in order to enforce seizure of counterfeits or pirated goods. You also get to build and create a strong mark in form of an arbitrary mark that has no correlation with the service you provide, or even a fanciful mark that is made up. So I made another poll. Do you think Omotola is a fanciful mark or an arbitrary mark? Now, thankfully, 59.4% said Omotola as a mark is an arbitrary mark and not a fanciful mark. While 40.6 had voted that it was a fanciful. I mean, why would you guys think it's even a fanciful mark? But yeah, I guess we learn every day. Now, can personal names be registered as a trademark in Nigeria? Now, before I'm going to answer this question, we need to read what section 67 sub 1 of the Trademark Act says. It says trademark is a mark used or proposed to be used in relation to goods for the purpose of indicating, or so as to indicate a connection to the course in the course of trade between the goods and some persons having the right, either as a proprietor, that's the owner, or a registered user to use the mark, whether with or without any indication of the identity of that person. While a mark is defined as a device, a brand, heading, label, ticket, name, emphasis on names, guys, signature, words, letter, numerals, or any combination thereof. So remember I talked about how an IP owner or a trademark owner has the exclusive right to enjoy and use the mark as they want, and also gives them the authority to restrict third parties from using a similar or identical mark in respect of the goods or services registered out of the 45 classes that we have. However, there are limitations to these exclusive rights, and they include as follows. Now, these limitations are as follows. Now, under section 5 sub 1, it says if a registration is considered to be valid, then the proprietor shall be given the exclusive right to use that trademark in relation to those goods. What that means is that if the registry approves of the name that you want to use, then you can use it in relation to the goods or services that you registered the marking. This does not mean that trademarking a personal name is not allowed under the Act. Personal names are not restricted under the law. In fact, the act of trademarking personal names is very common amongst celebrities who wish to commercialize and exploit their name and likeness. This is called unknown under IP as rights of publicity, and the act of trademarking is known as celebrity branding or celebrity trademarking, where the celebrity would register their personal name or their pseudonyms and use it for merchandise or endorsements or building a franchise or creating a merchandise. It can also be used to generate revenue for the celebrity, and the name must act as a source identifier. So if I hear Omotola for entertainment services, I should be able to link it to Omotola. It should not also cause any likelihood of confusion with another pending application or a registered mark. Examples of celebrities that have trademarked their name. First up is Kylie Jenner. She had registered Kylie for her cosmetic brand. Then we have Fenty by Rihanna, who went ahead to sue her father for using the name Fenty. She sued him for intellectual property infringement and publicity rights, claiming that he wanted to use the name to benefit his own entertainment company. Imagine a child suing the father for using their name, family name. Anyways, then you have Beyonce. Beyonce trademarked her name, Beyonce, the name of her album, Sasha Fierce, which was also known as Sasha Fierce. Beyonce beehive. Then you have Merrily Strip, who trademarked her name so it couldn't be misused for entertainment services, movie appearances, autographs, and other engagement. Her real name is Mary Louise Strip, and she just trademarked Mary Strip. Then you have Victoria Beckham, who trademarked her daughter's name, Harper Beckham, to protect her name and allow her to produce branded products using the name in Britain and in Europe. So celebrity trademarking their name is not something new, maybe a bit alien in our jurisdiction, that is Nigeria, but the law does not restrict an IP owner from using their personal name, especially when it's being used in commerce or in the course of trade. It is only when a person's name will cause confusion or interfere with an already or previously existing name as stated in section 8 sub 1 paragraph A of the Trademark Act. And it is only the registrar, that's the trademark registrar, that has the power to tell a proprietor or the trademark owner whether or not they can register a mark. And according to section 17 sub 1, any person who wants to apply for a trademark can apply for a preliminary advice on the distinctiveness of the mark to determine whether or not it is capable of distinguishing or able to distinguish as the case may be, and the registrar shall have a power to give the advice asked for. Subsection 2 provides that in the event that the advice was accepted and made within 3 weeks after the advice was given, the registrar, after further investigation and consideration, will give notice of his objection to the acceptance of the application, that the mark is not able to distinguish or even capable of distinguishing. So until the registrar says that the name Omotola is not considered to be distinctive or capable of distinguishing itself as the mark, Omotola's name is considered to be distinctive in nature. And upon registration of a mark, section 22 sub 1 paragraph A to B provides that where an application to register a mark has been accepted and it was not opposed, or the time for notice to oppose has expired, or the application has been opposed and it was decided in favor of the applicant, the registrar shall, unless the application has been accepted in error, register that trademark in either part A or B as the case may be. While subsection 3 provides that once a mark is registered, a certificate of registration will be issued with the seal of the registrar. So if you've done a trademark registration, please make sure that the certificate you have has the seal of the registrar. If not, please question your trademark agent. Not to badmouth anyone, but you need to be really careful. I've had a lot of awful stories, but we move. Once a mark is registered, it is valid for 7 years according to section 14 and is subject to renewal. So once you've registered your mark, you have to always renew the mark from time to time for a period of 14 years, for the said period of 7 years. See section 23 sub 1 of the Act. Now, in conclusion, celebrities should embrace the idea of commercializing and exploiting their name and likeness before somebody else does that before them, because in Nigeria we apply the first to file principle and not first to use principle. Secondly, we need a proper structure and template for rights of publicity, more IP awareness for creatives and innovators. Trademark is territorial in nature. Any mark registered should be in connection with the course of trade. Always, 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 I'm going to keep saying this in all my episodes, I guess. Always consult an IP lawyer to know the marks that are registrable. So the fact that Dr. Omotola J Ekeinde MFR registered Omotola and not almost sexy, like her fans expected, doesn't mean others are restricted from bearing the name. It only means that when you attempt to trademark the name in the same class as she did, you'll be considered to be an infringer. So it is also not a generic word or mark. When they say a mark or a word is generic, it means it's a common term used by every other person that thinks, oh, this is like, so it's like in Nigeria, you want to buy noodles and you go and say, I need Indomie noodles. Indomie is a brand name, but most people call all the brands um Indomie. So you want detergent, and everyone's like, give me Omo, give me Omo. I want to buy Omo. Do you have Omo? Omo is the name of a brand, not the detergent. Omo is the name, the brand name for the detergent. I don't know if that makes perfect sense, but in conclusion, Omotola can never be a generic term. Um, the fact that she trademarked the name does not restrict others from bearing the name Omotola. Going forward, if you wish to use the Omotola for business purpose or commercial purpose, you need to get a consent, permission, and authorization. Where else you'll be considered to be an infringer. So yeah, this brings me to the end of today's IP series. I hope we all learned something. If you did, please give me a thumbs up or favorite my podcast. I also put up another poll and I asked if people learned something or found it interesting. And luckily for me, 50% said they found it interesting. 41.7 said 50% said they learned something. 41.7 said they found it interesting, while 8.3 said do better. I'll keep doing better, guys, because I'm here to serve you guys. But yeah, that's it for today's IP series. Thank you guys so much, and be on the lookout for the next episode. Cheers, guys. Bye.